My hunting cabin isn't some prefab shed. It's a place I built with my own hands over a decade ago, on land I bought free and clear, long before any HOA cropped up nearby. It's rustic, yes, but it's also my refuge, a wood stove for heat, racks of antlers and fishing poles on the walls, and a porch that looks out onto the tree line. No Wi-Fi, no cell service, just peace. But to the HOA next door, peace means control. It started with letters. They claimed my structure wasn't compliant with their aesthetic rules. They said I owed $8,000 in back dues. Then came the threats, fines, liens, even foreclosure. I ignored every notice, because my property isn't under their jurisdiction. Still, they escalated. One weekend, I drove up to find tire tracks cutting across my land. My heart sank as I rounded the bend. Where my cabin once stood, there was nothing but splintered beams and a pile of rubble. They had demolished it. My porch, my stove, my grandfather's mounted deer head, all of it smashed to pieces. I felt sick. Furious. But here's what the HOA didn't know. I'm not just some weekend hunter. I'm a sitting federal judge. And if there's one thing I know better than hunting, it's the law. First thing Monday, I filed reports with the sheriff, the state attorney general's office, and federal property crimes division. Then I set to work on my own. I gathered every fraudulent notice they'd ever sent, every recorded voicemail from their president, every photo of the destruction. My clerk helped me compile it into a case file thicker than a dictionary. When the HOA board got their summons, they must have thought it was bluff. They showed up to court smirking, expecting a slap on the wrist. That smirk vanished the second I walked into the courtroom, not as the victim, but as the presiding judge. Of course, I recused myself immediately. But the symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. They hadn't just picked a fight with a property owner. They'd picked a fight with someone who knew every inch of the legal system they were about to be chewed up in. The trial was brutal for them. Their demolition order was fake, their liens invalid, their jurisdiction non-existent. It came out that they'd forged documents, doctored maps, and even bribed a contractor to bulldoze my cabin under the table. The jury didn't need an hour to deliberate. Verdict? Guilty of property destruction, fraud, and criminal conspiracy. The HOA was ordered to pay me triple damages. Between restitution for the cabin, punitive damages, and legal costs, the bill came out to just over $2.4 million. 3 board members faced felony charges. The President? She cried when the sentence was read, 2 years behind bars. And the HOA itself? Bankrupt. The neighborhood's amenities fund was drained overnight. Pool closed. Tennis courts locked. Landscaping contracts cancelled. Homeowners who had once cheered Karen's firm leadership now cursed her name every time they mowed their own grass. As for me, I rebuilt. Bigger, stronger, better. The new cabin has reinforced beams, a stone chimney, solar panels, and yes, an outdoor fire pit. Every time I sit there watching the flames crackle, I think about how their arrogance burned their own community to the ground. The moral? You don't bulldoze a judge's cabin and expect to walk away. They thought they had power with their fines and fees. But in the end, I had the gavel. And I dropped it, hard. Now, when hunters in the area swap stories, mine always gets a laugh. Remember when the HOA demolished a federal judge's cabin? Yeah. Too bad for them, he's the one who wrote the law book they broke.